I stood in the doorway of my own living room, paralyzed. My heart pounded so loudly I could barely hear the sound of Jessica's breathless moans. She didn't even notice me standing there, too wrapped up in her little performance on the couch with that bastard, Evan, my so-called friend. My hands clenched into fists as I took in the scene, my wife straddling him, half naked, whispering filthy things into his ear that she used to say to me. It felt like every drop of blood drained from my body, replaced by pure, unfiltered rage. I didn't just see them, I recorded it. My phone's camera captured every second of her betrayal, every disgusting touch, every word of lust. Proof. Proof that would destroy her. Jessica suddenly froze, her gaze locking onto mine. Her eyes widened in terror as if she'd just seen a ghost. In that split second, I saw a flicker of guilt, but it was gone as fast as it came, replaced by defiance. She didn't even try to cover herself, just glared at me like I was the one ruining her moment. What the hell, Jack? She snapped, like I was the one at fault here. Evan scrambled to get dressed, his face white as a sheet, stuttering some half-assed apology. I ignored him. My focus was on her, the woman I'd given everything to. The woman who promised me forever. You thought I wouldn't find out? I hissed, my voice steady despite the storm raging inside me. I took a step closer, and for a second, I swore I saw fear in her eyes. You really thought I was that stupid? Inviting him to our home? To our bed? She scoffed, rolling her eyes. Oh, please, Jack. You're never around. Always working, always focused on your stupid job. I needed someone who actually pays attention to me. Unlike you. My chest tightened, but I refused to let her see how much her words cut. I just smirked, lifting my phone to show her the recording. Hope it was worth it, I said, my tone cold and unrecognizable. Because now everyone's gonna know exactly what kind of woman you are. Evan's face turned even paler, realizing that his own wife would see this too. He shot up from the couch, grabbing his shirt, stammering something about not wanting trouble. Too late for that, buddy. You picked the wrong man's wife to screw. I took one last look at Jessica, the woman I thought I knew, and felt nothing but disgust. I turned around and walked out of the house, leaving them both scrambling to figure out what the hell just happened. As I got into my car, I couldn't help but laugh, a bitter, hollow sound that didn't feel like mine. She thought she broke me, but she just unleashed something she would regret for the rest of her miserable life. The ride away from that house felt like it lasted a lifetime. My knuckles were white from gripping the steering wheel, and every muscle in my body was tense, like a coiled spring ready to snap. I wasn't sure where I was going. I just needed to get away. Away from that betrayal. Away from her. Away from the ugly reality that had just crashed down on me like a tidal wave. My mind was racing. Images of Jessica and Evan kept replaying in my head, like some twisted loop I couldn't escape from. Her smug, unapologetic face. His cowardly stuttering. The way she didn't even bother trying to explain herself. The anger was suffocating. I needed to hit something, break something, scream until my lungs gave out. But instead, I just drove. Eventually, I pulled into an empty parking lot and killed the engine. The silence that followed was deafening. I slammed my fist into the dashboard, the pain shooting up my arm, but it was nothing compared to the agony eating away at my insides. I couldn't believe it. I had trusted her. I had loved her. And she had the audacity to bring that piece of trash into our home. The rage simmered just beneath the surface, but my mind was already shifting to something colder, sharper, revenge. I wasn't just going to walk away and let her think she'd gotten away with it. No. If she wanted to humiliate me, to treat me like some idiot husband who wouldn't notice, she was about to learn just how wrong she was. My phone buzzed in my pocket, and I pulled it out to see a text from Jessica. I didn't even want to read it, but curiosity got the best of me. Jessica, Jack, come home. We need to talk. I can explain. You're overreacting. Overreacting? I nearly laughed out loud. Was she serious? I snapped a photo of her text and saved it as more evidence. She didn't even try to deny it. She was actually trying to gaslight me, make me feel like I was the one in the wrong. Typical Jessica. Always twisting things to make herself look innocent. I stared at the message, my mind calculating every possible move. There was no way I was just going to pack up and leave. I needed to be smart about this, hurt her in a way she would never recover from. Divorce would be too easy. I wanted to ruin her reputation. Let everyone see her for the lying, cheating snake she was. A plan began to form in my mind. I had the video of her little affair. I had proof. If she thought she could just walk away from this unscathed, she was dead wrong. I pulled up my contact list and found the number of our mutual friend, Brian. Brian was one of those guys who knew everyone and everything, and he never kept a secret for long. Perfect. I hit the call button and waited. Hey, Jack. What's up, man? Brian's voice was light and casual, completely unaware of the storm brewing on my end. Listen, I need your help, I said, keeping my tone even. Are you busy right now? Nah, just chilling at home. What's going on? Can I come over? It's important. And private. Brian hesitated for a second. Sure, man. Everything okay? No. But it will be, I replied, hanging up without giving him a chance to ask more questions. I took a deep breath, trying to calm the whirlwind in my head. This wasn't just about exposing Jessica. It was about making sure everyone saw her true colors, especially the people she tried so hard to impress. Her family, her friends, her colleagues. I wanted them all to know what kind of person she really was. As I drove to Brian's place, memories kept hitting me. Jessica's sweet smile when we first met, her laugh when I did something stupid, the way she'd hug me from behind when I was cooking breakfast. I had no idea when things started to change, when I stopped being enough for her. Maybe it was when I picked up that extra shift to afford the vacation she wanted, or when I started working weekends to pay for the renovations she kept asking for. I gave her everything, sacrificed my time, my energy, hell, even my dreams. All for a woman who couldn't keep herself loyal for 5 minutes. I pulled up to Brian's house, forcing myself to leave those thoughts behind. I needed to stay focused. Brian was already waiting at the door, looking concerned. Jack, you good? You look like you've seen a ghost. I forced a tight smile. You could say that. Let's go inside. Once we were settled on his couch, I didn't waste any time. I pulled out my phone and played the video. Brian's eyes widened as he took in the scene, his face going from shock to furious. What the hell? That's Jessica and... Is that Evan? Are you kidding me? In your own house? I nodded, my jaw clenched. Yeah, caught them red-handed. She tried to act like it was nothing, like I was blowing it out of proportion. I need your help, Brian. Man, I'm so sorry. I had no idea she was like that. What do you need me to do? I thought about it for a second. I want everyone to know. Post it. Share it with everyone who knows her. I don't care who sees it. I want her humiliated. I want him exposed. Brian hesitated. You sure? This will destroy her. She's going to come crawling back, begging for forgiveness. I shook my head. She made her choice. Now she lives with the consequences. Brian nodded slowly. All right, man. I'll make sure everyone sees it. You don't deserve this. Neither of them do. As I left Brian's house, a dark satisfaction crept over me. Jessica thought she could play me for a fool. She thought I'd just walk away like a wounded puppy. But she underestimated me. I wasn't just going to walk away from this mess, she was. And that was just the beginning. The next morning, I woke up to my phone buzzing nonstop. Notifications flooded in like a damn tidal wave, texts, missed calls, messages from people I hadn't heard from in years. I rubbed the sleep from my eyes and checked the screen. Social media was blowing up, and Brian hadn't wasted any time. Jessica's little performance had gone viral within our circle of friends and beyond. The video had been shared, reposted, and spread like wildfire. People were commenting left and right, tagging both Jessica and Evan. Some were in disbelief, some were furious, and a few just couldn't resist stirring the pot. I scrolled through the comments, seeing everything from "what a filthy cheat" to "Jack deserved better." It felt good to see people on my side for once. A part of me almost felt guilty for putting it out there, but then I remembered the way she smirked when she got caught, acting like it was no big deal. She deserved every bit of this fallout. Just as I started to feel a hint of satisfaction, my phone buzzed again. This time it was Jessica calling. I ignored it. A few seconds later, another call, this time from Evan. Blocked his number without a second thought. I wasn't interested in hearing excuses or apologies. They had made their bed, literally, and now they could lie in it. Then, a text from Jessica popped up. Jessica, you sick bastard. How could you do this to me? You ruined my life. My parents are freaking out, and everyone at work knows. Call me now. I couldn't help but smirk. She was mad at me for exposing her? Unbelievable. I didn't bother replying. Let her stew in her own mess. I was still reading through the endless stream of messages when I got a call from Brian. This time, I picked up. Dude, have you seen the reaction? Brian said, sounding more excited than I'd ever heard him. People are going nuts. Jessica's been posting all over Facebook, trying to play the victim. Of course she is, I muttered. What's she saying? She's claiming it's all fake, that you edited the video to frame her. Brian snorted. But nobody's buying it. People know her too well to believe that crap. I couldn't help but laugh at the sheer audacity of it. As if I would go to such lengths to create some elaborate lie. Let her try to spin it, I replied. She can't wiggle her way out of this one. As soon as I hung up, I couldn't resist checking her social media. Sure enough, Jessica had written a long, dramatic post about how I was a controlling, jealous husband who manipulated the situation to ruin her reputation. She painted herself as the victim, desperately trying to convince everyone that she was innocent. But the comment section was brutal. Nobody was buying it. One comment caught my eye. Megan, Jessica, stop lying. We all know you've been seeing Evan for months. You didn't even try to hide it at Sarah's party. Stop acting like you're innocent. That hit me like a brick. Sarah's party? I hadn't even gone to that one because I was covering a night shift at work. Jessica told me she was just having a girls' night out. My stomach twisted with the realization that this wasn't just a one-time thing. It had been going on for longer than I thought. I shot Megan a quick message, asking her what she meant. A minute later, she replied. Megan, oh God, Jack, I'm so sorry. I thought you knew. They were all over each other at Sarah's party. She told everyone you guys were having issues and that you were too busy to pay attention to her. We all thought you knew. I feel terrible. I gritted my teeth. So Jessica had been spreading lies about me behind my back, too. Telling people I was neglecting her, making herself look like the poor, lonely wife while she was screwing around with Evan. My vision went red for a moment, and I fought the urge to smash something. Suddenly, another notification popped up, a message from Evan's wife, Nicole. My stomach dropped. I hadn't thought about how this would affect her. She must have found out through the video, just like everyone else. I hesitated before opening it, not sure what to expect. Nicole, Jack, I just saw the video. I don't even know what to say. I'm so sorry. I had no idea. He kept telling me he was working late or hanging out with friends. I feel so stupid. I couldn't let her blame herself. Me, you're not stupid. They played both of us. I'm sorry you had to find out this way. Her response came almost immediately. Nicole, I'm done with him. Kicking him out. He can rot for all I care. I can't believe I trusted him. I don't know how to face people now. I took a deep breath, trying to think of something comforting to say. Me, you didn't deserve this. None of it. If you need anything or just want to talk, let me know. She sent a quick, thank you, and I could feel the sadness behind her words. Part of me wanted to go over and make sure she was okay, but I knew we both needed time to process this nightmare. I leaned back on the couch, finally letting the exhaustion hit me. Exposing Jessica and Evan was just the first step. There was still the divorce to deal with. Still the fallout with family and friends who had been caught up in Jessica's web of lies. The anger wasn't gone. It was still simmering beneath the surface, but there was a new determination brewing alongside it. Jessica wanted to play the victim, to twist the story and make herself look innocent. But I wasn't about to let that happen. I was going to make sure everyone knew the truth, and I wasn't backing down. For the first time in days, I allowed myself a small, satisfied smile. She thought she could walk all over me and come out unscathed, but she had underestimated me. I wasn't just going to take this lying down. I was going to make sure her lies burned to the ground, and I'd watch with a front row seat. The next move was mine, and I was just getting started. The next few days were a whirlwind of chaos. Jessica tried every trick in the book to contact me, texts, calls, even emails. I ignored every single one. Her messages ranged from furious to desperate to downright pathetic. One minute she was screaming at me to take the video down. The next she was begging me to come back and talk like adults. I wasn't having it. She'd made her choices, and now she was paying the price. My phone buzzed constantly with messages from friends and family, some offering support, others in complete shock. A few wanted to stay out of it entirely, not wanting to pick sides. Typical. I couldn't blame them. It was messy, and no one wanted to be caught in the crossfire. One evening, just as I was starting to feel some sense of peace, like I was finally getting a grip on the situation, there was a loud, insistent knock on my door. I wasn't in the mood to deal with anyone, but the knocking didn't stop. I got up, half expecting Brian or maybe Nicole. But when I opened the door, my stomach dropped. Jessica was standing there, makeup smeared from crying, her hair a mess, clutching her phone in one hand and a crumpled tissue in the other. I almost slammed the door in her face, but she forced her way inside before I could react. Jack, please, just hear me out, she pleaded, her voice cracking. I didn't move, just crossed my arms and glared at her. You've got 2 minutes. Talk. She looked at me, her eyes full of tears, trying to pull off that innocent act she'd mastered so well. I was stupid, okay? I made a mistake. You were never around, and I felt so lonely. Evan was he was just a distraction. It didn't mean anything. I snorted. You brought him into our house, Jess. Into our bed. That's not a mistake. That's a choice. Don't act like you were some helpless victim. She wiped her nose with the tissue, trying to come closer, but I took a step back. I swear it didn't mean anything. I still love you, Jack. Please, let's just put this behind us. We can fix it. We can go to counseling or something. I almost laughed in her face. You don't love me. You love the comfort I gave you, the security. You loved having someone who'd bend over backward to make you happy while you screwed around behind my back. Don't insult me by pretending you're the victim here. Her expression changed, like a switch flipped inside her. The tears dried up instantly, and her face twisted into a bitter sneer. You think you're so righteous, huh? Like you never did anything wrong? Maybe if you hadn't been so obsessed with your job, I wouldn't have needed someone else. You pushed me to this. That hit a nerve, and I couldn't help but fire back. Pushed you? I worked my ass off to give you the life you wanted. Every promotion, every extra shift, so you could have the vacations, the house, the damn new car. While you sat at home and played wife when it suited you. You didn't need someone else. You wanted it. Don't blame me for your lack of self-control. She scoffed, shaking her head like I was the one who didn't get it. You're just too stubborn to admit that you weren't giving me what I needed. Evan listened to me. He cared about how I felt. I clenched my jaw, trying to keep my temper in check. Yeah, he cared so much he helped wreck our marriage. Some friend. And you? You didn't even have the decency to come clean. I had to find out by walking in on your little show. You know what, Jessica? You're pathetic. She glared at me, her lips pressed into a thin line. You're a bastard, she hissed. You think ruining my reputation makes you a hero? Everyone's judging me because of you. I almost couldn't believe her nerve. You ruined your own reputation when you decided to cheat. I just made sure people knew the truth. If you're looking for sympathy, try Evan. See how much he cares now that his own wife kicked him out. Jessica's face fell. What? I raised an eyebrow. Didn't know that? Huh? Yeah. Nicole threw his sorry ass out when she saw the video. Guess your little boy toy's homeless now. Maybe you two can shack up together. Her mouth opened and closed like a fish out of water, and I couldn't help but feel a grim satisfaction. For once, Jessica didn't have a snappy comeback. Just a wounded, shocked expression as her perfect little fantasy came crashing down. Finally, she whispered, You can't just throw away what we had, Jack. We built a life together. I shook my head, feeling nothing but a cold, detached emptiness. We didn't build anything, Jessica. I built it while you played around behind my back. I was faithful. I was committed. You threw it all away for some cheap thrill. We're done. She looked like she was going to say something, but I didn't give her the chance. I opened the door and gestured for her to leave. Get out, I said calmly. I'll send you the divorce papers. Don't contact me again. Jessica hesitated for a moment, as if hoping I'd change my mind. When she realized I wasn't budging, she finally walked out without another word. I slammed the door behind her and leaned against it, feeling a mixture of exhaustion and relief. It was over. The marriage. The lies. The humiliation. It was all over. I wasn't stupid enough to think I'd feel instantly better, but at least I knew I was done being a doormat. No more bending over backward for someone who didn't respect me. No more forgiving someone who didn't deserve it. As I sat down on the couch, my phone buzzed again. This time, it was a message from Nicole. Nicole, hey, I just heard she tried to spin it on you. I'm so sorry. If you need someone to talk to, I'm here. I stared at the message for a moment, then typed back. Me. Thanks. Maybe we should grab a coffee sometime. It's been a rough week. Her reply was almost instant. Nicole, I'd like that. Let's make it happen. A small smile tugged at my lips. It wasn't much, but it was a start. The road ahead was still uncertain, but at least I knew one thing. I was done being a victim. Jessica's betrayal had broken me, but I wasn't going to stay broken. I'd rebuild stronger, smarter, and without the weight of her lies dragging me down. A week passed, and life didn't feel real anymore. It was like I'd stepped out of my own body and was watching some other guy's life fall apart from a distance. People kept calling and texting, but I ignored most of it. I wasn't in the mood to keep explaining myself or reliving the same damn story over and over. Brian dropped by a couple of times to check on me, bringing beers and trying to distract me with whatever nonsense he could think of. I appreciated the effort, but my mind was still stuck on the whirlwind of betrayal. I couldn't help but replay that moment over and over, the shock, the rage, the gut-wrenching realization that I'd been played for a fool. One evening, I decided I'd had enough of sulking. It was time to pull myself together. I wasn't going to let Jessica's mess destroy what was left of my sanity. I went for a run, letting the cool evening air cut through the fog in my brain. The pounding of my feet on the pavement matched the rhythm of my heartbeat, and for the first time in days, I felt a sense of control. Halfway through the run, my phone buzzed with another message. I almost ignored it, but curiosity got the best of me. It was from Nicole. Nicole, hey, just checking in. Are you okay? I hesitated before typing back. Me, been better, but I'm surviving. How are you holding up? Her response came almost immediately. Nicole, still feels surreal. Never thought he'd do that to me, or that your wife would be involved. I just needed someone to talk to. Someone who actually gets it. That hit me harder than I expected. Nicole and I had always been friendly when the four of us hung out, but we were never really close. Now, it was like we were bonded by the same betrayal, struggling to make sense of the wreckage left behind. Me, same here. It's like I don't even know who I was married to. I'm just trying to figure out what comes next. She replied instantly. Nicole, want to meet up tomorrow? Just to talk. I could use the company. I thought about it for a second. Part of me wasn't ready to face the world yet, but I knew staying holed up wasn't doing me any favors either. Me, yeah, let's do it. Coffee at noon. Nicole, perfect. See you then. I slid my phone back into my pocket and kept running, trying to clear my head. Meeting Nicole felt like a step forward, like I was finally taking control of the mess that had consumed my life. Maybe sharing the pain with someone who understood would help me heal. The next day, I found myself pacing outside the coffee shop, feeling weirdly nervous. I spotted Nicole sitting at a corner table, stirring her coffee absent-mindedly. She looked just as worn out as I felt, but when she saw me, she managed a small smile. Hey, I greeted her, sliding into the chair across from her. Hey, she echoed, her voice soft and tired. We sat there for a moment, the awkwardness hanging heavy between us. Finally, I broke the silence. How are you doing? She sighed, looking down at her coffee. Not great. Every time I close my eyes, I see his face, how he used to look at me like I was his whole world. Now I know he was lying the entire time. It's like, I don't even know who I married. I nodded slowly. I know the feeling. Jessica used to act like I was her rock, the one she couldn't live without. All those sweet words, all that affection, just a bunch of lies to keep me in line while she did whatever she wanted. Nicole's hand trembled slightly as she took a sip of her coffee. Do you think they loved each other? Or was it just, whatever it was? I thought about that for a moment. Honestly, I don't know. I think they loved themselves more than they loved either of us. They wanted the thrill, the excitement, something new. We were just convenient. She looked up at me, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. I gave him everything. Sacrificed my career to support him. Trusted him blindly. How did I not see it coming? I wanted to reach across the table and hold her hand, but I wasn't sure if it would be welcome. Instead, I just spoke softly. You didn't see it because you're a good person. You trusted him because that's what love is supposed to be. You didn't do anything wrong, Nicole. They did. She wiped at her eyes and nodded. It's just so humiliating. Everyone's talking about it. My mom called me crying because she couldn't believe it. My dad's ready to tear Evan apart. It's a mess. I couldn't help but chuckle bitterly. Same here. My brother called me last night, practically begging to fly over and deal with Jessica. Everyone's pissed, but it doesn't change the fact that it happened. Now we just move on, I guess. Nicole looked at me with a hint of a smile. Easier said than done. We sat there for hours, talking about everything from our lives before the betrayal to how numb we felt now. It was strange how comfortable it was, like we didn't need to pretend or put up walls. By the time we left the cafe, I actually felt lighter. Before we parted ways, she hesitated, looking at me with uncertainty. Thanks for meeting me, Jack. I didn't realize how much I needed this. Same here, I admitted. Let's do it again sometime. We could both use the company. Her smile was softer this time, more genuine. Yeah, I like that. As she walked away, I couldn't help but feel a sense of relief. For the first time in a while, I wasn't overwhelmed with anger or sadness. It felt like the beginning of something new, a step away from the ruins of my marriage and towards something better. I wasn't sure what the future held, but at least I wasn't walking through it alone. One thing was for sure, Jessica's betrayal wouldn't define me. I wasn't going to let it break me. If anything, it made me stronger, more aware of what I deserved and unwilling to settle for less. As I headed back home, I couldn't help but wonder what Jessica would do when the divorce papers hit her doorstep. Would she still try to spin her web of lies, or would she finally accept that she'd burned every bridge? It didn't matter. I was done giving a damn about her excuses. This was my fresh start, and I was going to take it, even if I had to rebuild from scratch. A few days later, I sat at my kitchen table with a stack of paperwork in front of me, divorce papers. I had spent the last few nights going over every little detail with my lawyer, making sure there were no loopholes Jessica could exploit. I wasn't just going to hand over half of everything I worked my ass off for. She made her choices, and I wasn't about to reward her for it. My lawyer, Mark, was a sharp, no-nonsense kind of guy. He'd seen plenty of messy divorces, but even he seemed disgusted when I told him the whole story. She'll probably fight it, he had warned me. Women like her, they don't just let go. Especially not when their reputation's on the line. I leaned back in my chair, running a hand through my hair. The anger had faded to a dull ache now, replaced by a cold determination. If Jessica wanted to fight, she was going to lose. I wasn't about to let her walk away with my money, my house, or my dignity. Just as I was gathering up the papers to head back to the lawyer's office, my phone rang. I glanced at the screen. Jessica. Again. I considered ignoring it like always, but something inside me snapped. I needed to hear what new excuse she had cooked up this time. I hit answer and put the phone on speaker. What do you want? I said flatly. Her voice was shaky, and for a second, I almost thought she was genuinely upset. Jack, can we please talk? Just hear me out. I sighed, forcing myself to stay calm. Talk. You've got 1 minute. I know you're mad, and I deserve that, she started, trying to sound sincere. But what you did, posting that video, do you realize how much you've ruined my life? My job's on the line, and everyone's treating me like I'm some kind of monster. You didn't have to do that. My jaw tightened. No, Jess, you did that to yourself. I just showed everyone the truth. If you didn't want your reputation destroyed, maybe you shouldn't have been screwing Evan in our living room. She hesitated, trying to find words that wouldn't make her sound even more pathetic. I never meant to hurt you. I didn't know how to talk to you anymore. You were so distant, always at work, always busy. I was lonely. There it was again, blaming me for her mistakes. I almost laughed. Lonely? So you decided screwing my friend would fix that? Real mature. You never once tried to talk to me about it. You just went behind my back and played the victim like you always do. Her tone shifted, defensive now. You never listened, Jack. I tried to tell you how unhappy I was, but you just kept working more hours, trying to buy your way out of fixing us. I clenched my fists, fighting the urge to throw my phone across the room. I was trying to build a life for us, a future. You wanted the nice house, the vacations, the new car. Who the hell did you think was paying for that? She didn't have an answer for that. Instead, she sniffled, probably hoping her fake tears would soften me up. Not this time. I'm filing for divorce, I said coldly. You'll get the papers soon. Sign them and move on with your life. We're done. Wait, she cried, desperation creeping into her voice. Can't we at least try counseling? We've been through so much. Don't throw it all away because of one mistake. One mistake. I scoffed. You've been seeing him for months. You lied to my face. You humiliated me in front of everyone we know. And you want to fix it with counseling? You lost the chance the second you brought him into our home. Her voice dropped to a whisper. Jack, please. I don't want to lose you. I felt a pang of something, regret. Maybe. Not for her, but for the life I thought we had. The version of her I loved never existed. She'd been a lie from the start. It's too late, I said, my voice colder than I intended. I'm done playing your games. I'll see you in court. I ended the call before she could respond, my chest heaving as the anger resurfaced. I didn't owe her anything, not my forgiveness, not my sympathy. She had burned that bridge the moment she betrayed me. Just as I put the phone down, another message came through, this time from Nicole. Nicole, just heard Jessica's telling people you're the one who cheated on her. Thought you should know. I nearly broke my phone from gripping it too hard. Of course, she would try to flip the script, playing the victim while painting me as the villain. I quickly typed back. Me. She's desperate. Let her dig her own grave. Everyone knows the truth. Nicole. Yeah, but just be careful. I wouldn't put it past her to try something crazy to get back at you. She was right. Jessica wasn't the type to go down without a fight, especially not when her reputation was on the line. I knew I needed to cover my bases, so I called Mark again and filled him in on Jessica's new narrative. She's trying to flip it on you? Mark sounded genuinely pissed. Typical. Don't worry. I'll make sure we're prepared for any false claims. You still have the original video file, right? Yeah, I confirmed. I backed it up on my computer and a USB drive just in case. Good. Keep everything. If she tries to twist the story in court, we'll shut her down fast. I hung up, feeling a little more at ease. Jessica could try to manipulate the situation all she wanted, but she wasn't going to win this one. I had the truth on my side, and I wasn't backing down. Later that evening, Brian stopped by with a couple of beers and a look of concern. Saw Jessica's latest post, he muttered, handing me a bottle. She's telling people you were controlling and cheated on her first. I took a long drink, forcing myself to stay calm. She's panicking. She knows she's screwed, so she's trying to turn everyone against me. Brian shook his head in disbelief. Man, I never thought she'd sink this low. Just know I got your back. Everyone who knows you knows she's full of crap. I nodded, grateful for his loyalty. I'm not worried about her lies. I just want to get this divorce finalized and move on. She can dig her own grave for all I care. We sat in silence for a while, just drinking and shaking our heads at the mess Jessica was making of her own life. I couldn't control what she did next, but I could control my own decisions. I was done playing the nice guy, done letting her manipulate me into feeling guilty. I was ready to fight back, and I was going to make sure she never got the chance to drag me down with her. A week after filing for divorce, I thought things were finally starting to settle down. Jessica had gone silent, probably licking her wounds and trying to find a way to spin the narrative to her favor. I didn't care. I was focused on moving forward, fixing the mess she left behind, and figuring out what my life would look like now. That evening, just as I was finishing up some paperwork, my phone rang. It was Mark, my lawyer. I picked up, half expecting another update on the divorce. Hey, Mark. What's up? I asked. His tone was serious, too serious. Jack, we've got a problem. Jessica filed a counterclaim today. I frowned, confused. What the hell does that mean? Mark sighed. She's accusing you of domestic abuse. Claims you were physically violent throughout the marriage. For a moment, I couldn't even breathe. My mind went blank, and then the anger surged back like a tidal wave. What? That's complete bullshit. I never laid a hand on her. I know, Mark said calmly. But she's already filed a restraining order against you. The court's going to review it tomorrow. I'll be there to fight it, but I need you to keep your head on straight. I gripped the edge of the table, my knuckles turning white. She's seriously trying to make me look like the villain now? After everything she did? She's desperate, Mark replied. When women like her lose control, they'll do anything to shift the blame. She knows the public's already against her, so she's playing the victim card hard. We'll handle it, but you need to be prepared. If the order goes through, you'll be legally barred from contacting her or going near her. I could barely contain my rage. This is insane. She cheated, she lied, and now she's trying to ruin my life even more. Mark's voice softened. I've seen it before, Jack. Don't let it get to you. We'll prove she's lying. Just make sure you don't respond to her or give her any ammo. Let me handle it. I thanked him and hung up, my head spinning. I knew Jessica was manipulative, but this? Trying to destroy my reputation completely? My heart pounded with frustration and disbelief. I needed to calm down before I did something stupid. I called Brian and told him everything. His response was exactly what I expected, pure outrage. That lying witch, he snapped. She's just pissed you didn't fall apart and crawl back to her. This is her way of punishing you. Man, you need to fight this hard. Mark's on it, I replied, my voice tight. But I don't get it. How could she sink this low? Brian hesitated. Jack, I hate to bring this up, but have you thought about recording any interactions with her from now on? Just to cover your ass. He was right. I couldn't afford to take any chances. Good idea. I'll make sure everything's documented. If she tries to corner me or set me up, I'll have proof. After I hung up, I sat in silence, letting the reality sink in. Jessica wasn't just content to humiliate me, she wanted to ruin me completely. My career, my reputation, everything I had built was on the line now. If people believed her lies, I could lose everything. Just as I was about to pour myself a drink, my phone buzzed again. This time, it was Nicole. Nicole, I just heard what Jessica's trying to do. I'm so sorry. Are you okay? Me, not really. She's claiming I abused her. I'm losing my mind over here. Nicole, that's complete crap. You would never hurt anyone. She's just trying to save face after being exposed. I've known you for years. I know she's lying. Her words brought a little comfort, but not enough. I couldn't believe Jessica was stooping this low just to protect her reputation. Nicole, you need to prove she's lying. Do you have any recordings or texts that show she was the abusive one? Or anything to show her character? I thought about it and remembered something. A few months back, Jessica and I had gotten into a heated argument. I had recorded part of it because I was worried she'd twist my words later on. I pulled up the file on my phone and hit play. In the recording, Jessica's voice was shrill and venomous. Jessica, you think I give a damn about your job? You're nothing without me. Nobody else would put up with your pathetic ass. Me, Jess, calm down. You're not making sense. I'm just trying to understand why you're upset. Jessica, oh, now you're playing the victim? Grow a pair and stop whining. Maybe if you weren't such a boring loser, I wouldn't have to go find excitement somewhere else. I stopped the recording, my hands trembling. That was it, the proof that she wasn't some innocent victim. I sent the file to Mark with a quick message explaining the context. A few minutes later, Mark called back, his tone more optimistic. This is good, Jack. It shows her true nature and contradicts her story. We can use it to show her pattern of manipulation. Keep looking for anything else that backs up your side. The more we have, the better. Relief washed over me, but I wasn't about to get complacent. Jessica was still playing dirty, and I had to be prepared for anything. I decided to go through every message, voicemail, and recording I had, compiling anything that might prove my innocence. The next morning, I showed up at court with Mark, my stomach in knots. Jessica was already there, looking deliberately fragile, hair pulled back, no makeup, dressed in soft colors. Classic manipulation. She shot me a venomous glare as I walked past her. The hearing didn't last long. Mark presented the recording as evidence, and the judge seemed unimpressed with Jessica's story. Her lawyer tried to spin it as me being emotionally manipulative, but Mark shut it down fast, pointing out how Jessica's own words proved she was the aggressor. When the judge finally ruled against granting the restraining order, I felt like I could breathe again. Jessica's face twisted in frustration, and I couldn't help but feel a grim satisfaction. She tried to destroy me, but I wasn't going down that easily. As I left the courtroom, I saw Nicole waiting outside. She gave me a quick, tight hug. I knew you'd win, she whispered. Thanks for being here, I replied. It means a lot. We walked out together, leaving Jessica behind to wallow in her own mess. For once, I didn't feel defeated. I felt powerful, like I was finally taking back control of my life. Jessica underestimated me, thought I'd just lie down and let her stomp all over me. But she was wrong. I wasn't that guy anymore. I learned my lesson the hard way. Never let someone else control your story. I wasn't just going to survive this. I was going to rise above it. And Jessica could keep digging herself deeper because I was done being her victim. A month after the court hearing, I felt like I was finally starting to put the pieces of my life back together. The divorce process was slow and messy, but at least the lies had been exposed. Jessica's attempt to frame me for abuse had backfired spectacularly. Everyone saw through her manipulations, and the judge dismissed her claims without a second thought. Mark made sure she didn't get a single cent more than she was legally entitled to, and that was barely anything. The house stayed mine, the car stayed mine, and Jessica got exactly what she deserved, nothing. When the final divorce papers were signed, it felt like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders. Freedom. At last. Nicole and I kept in touch through it all. We had this unspoken understanding, like two survivors clinging to each other after a shipwreck. We hung out a lot, grabbing coffee, catching movies, or just talking about life. At first, it was just comforting to be around someone who truly understood the pain and betrayal. But slowly, something changed. One evening, after we both had one too many drinks at Brian's impromptu barbecue, she leaned over and kissed me. It was soft and hesitant, like she wasn't sure if it was the right thing to do. But when I kissed her back, everything just felt right. I pulled her closer, feeling warmth that I hadn't felt in what seemed like forever. When we pulled apart, she looked at me with a shy smile. Sorry. I didn't mean to. I cut her off with another kiss, deeper this time. Don't be sorry, I whispered. It feels good. Feels real. After that night, something shifted between us. We didn't rush things, but it was clear that we were moving forward together. Neither of us was looking to jump into anything serious, not after the disasters we'd both just gone through. But being with her felt easy, natural. A few weeks later, I was in the middle of fixing a busted pipe under the kitchen sink when my phone buzzed. I wiped my hands on a rag and checked the screen. It was Brian, sending me a link to a social media post. I clicked it, and my jaw dropped. It was Jessica, posting some long, dramatic message about how she was finally healing after being manipulated and controlled by me. She made herself sound like the poor, broken victim who had just fallen into Evan's arms because she was so emotionally neglected. I couldn't help but laugh at the sheer absurdity. The comments were brutal. People were calling her out for lying, pointing out how she tried to accuse me of abuse and failed spectacularly. A few people even shared the court records showing that the restraining order was denied and how she'd been caught lying under oath. Jessica was desperately trying to play the sympathy card, but it wasn't working. Brian texted again. Brian, she's still digging her own grave. Unreal. Thought you'd get a kick out of it. I couldn't even be mad. It was pathetic. She was so desperate to salvage her image that she didn't realize how much more damage she was doing. I shook my head, tossed the phone back on the counter, and finished fixing the pipe. Later that evening, Nicole came over to help me with dinner. As we sat down to eat, I couldn't help but tell her about Jessica's latest stunt. She just shook her head with a smirk. Let her keep trying, Nicole said, sipping her wine. Everyone knows the truth now. She's just embarrassing herself. I couldn't agree more. It wasn't my problem anymore. Jessica was someone else's burden to deal with now, maybe even Evan's, if he was stupid enough to stick around. As for me, I was done looking back. A couple of weeks later, I got a message from Jessica's mom, Linda. I hesitated before opening it, not sure what to expect. She'd been distant throughout the whole mess, probably trying to make sense of her daughter's actions. Linda, Jack, I just want you to know that I'm truly sorry for everything Jessica put you through. I raised her better than that, and I can't believe what she's become. You didn't deserve any of it. I just wanted to say thank you for being so patient with her for so long. That hit me harder than I expected. Linda had always been good to me, treating me like family from day one. I replied with a simple, "Me. Thanks, Linda. I appreciate it. Take care of yourself." When I put my phone down, Nicole squeezed my hand. "You okay?" I nodded. "Yeah, just weird. Hearing from her mom, I mean. I guess it's hitting me now that it's really over." Nicole smiled softly. "It is over. You did everything right. You didn't let her destroy you, and you didn't stoop to her level. That says a lot about you." Looking into Nicole's eyes, I felt something stir inside me, a sense of hope I hadn't felt in a long time. Maybe this was it. Maybe this was the fresh start I needed. I leaned in and kissed her, grateful that I'd found someone who saw me for who I really was, flaws and all. The days turned into weeks, and as life slowly found its rhythm again, I realized something important. I wasn't just surviving. I was thriving. I'd built my own peace from the ashes of my marriage, and no amount of Jessica's lies could change that. One evening, as Nicole and I sat on the porch, watching the sun dip below the horizon, she nudged me with her shoulder. "So, think you're ever going to let me teach you how to cook properly?" I laughed. "You mean stop relying on takeout and frozen pizza?" "Maybe, but you'll have to be patient. I'm a slow learner." She leaned her head against my shoulder. "Good thing I'm stubborn." I wrapped an arm around her, pulling her closer. Good thing, indeed. Jessica would always be a chapter in my life, a lesson learned the hard way. But she wasn't my story anymore. Nicole was part of my story now, a new chapter filled with honesty, understanding, and real, unselfish love. Life had a funny way of knocking you down just to show you how strong you really are when you get back up. I wasn't bitter anymore. I wasn't angry. I was just free. Free from the lies, the deceit, and the toxic cycle Jessica tried to keep me trapped in. And I wasn't looking back. Not anymore.